So I wrote a book back in 2011. It was basically poetry, a short autobiography of what I had been through up until that point, with a lot of poems in there, because I found poems to be very expressive and help me release my feelings and vent, just putting my words on paper. So I'm gonna read this poem I wrote. I'm gonna say I wrote it back probably 5 years ago, and it's about my time growing up with OCD in the school district up in Seattle. It's called Cursed to Be Normal. I was cursed to be normal, the normality of strange. God must have been drunk when he put together my brain. I feel like I've been stuck at level 1 of this game of tolerating pain, which I have done without gain. Problems with me are too much to feel ashamed of what has been going on inside of my brain. Since day 1 times 30 days, multiplied by 72 ways, I have proclaimed I need help to change my way of self-esteem. For it has been high every day, even though it seems there are no means, to confiscate the compliments I put away in my dreams. This part of me seems so ugly, in the way that it seems, to deem my inner retard every day. I'm sorry if that offends you in some close-minded way, but just think, this thing inside of me comes out every day, much to my dismay. I feel like I should fly away up to the heavens and ask God, why me? I was 12 when I said I was 13. I wanted to fit in and not lose myself over this OCD. So I sat in C3 for 5 straight strenuous weeks until the doctor came and told me that my treatment was complete. I was free. I was happy at first, but later on that day, I grew angry because the doctor didn't tell me that there was another school that I had to see. Simple minds and simple times occurred inside that school, except for me, for I had my hood up and drifted off to some tunes. When I was forced into a room of complete solitude, all the while knowing that these people had played me for a fool, all they ever did was look for somebody to screw. Mrs. Yappity Yap and Mr. Do This and Do That were so irritating, they thought they had me in their laps. But I just blew them off and took 3-hour naps until my mom picked me up and drove me away from that trap. I would look back and pray that I wouldn't have to go back. These ideas stem from a mind that has been through too much in its time, so calloused it has become in its long worn-out life, from attempts to colonize the insults it has survived and throw them off to the side. I wish I could give them my life and see the fear in their eyes as they cry and apologize for the damage they have done to a life so young. And now that life is saying, so long, you're in the past, for my life has just begun. Since day 1 I've been in crisis mode. I cannot even begin to relate to what a normal life feels like until I look it in the face. But still then, I don't see any eyes, ears, nose, or mouth. I just see a black hole that is the epitome of what my life is about. But I just keep on staring in the mirror, trying to figure my life out. My OCD is bittersweet in the fact that it hurts me and my family, in the fact that it forces me to always perform superbly, in the fact that when I go to sleep I count sheep infinitely, in the fact that I cannot stop until I succeed in everything, until I'm close to fainting. I train hard because training puts a positive reinforcement in me that I can be anything that I want to be. Say hello to this positive reinforcement, please. His name is OCD, and right now, he is the manipulator that I want him to be. But then there's a flip side, where he can always turn real mean. He becomes so very angry that he thinks the thoughts in me, and spits out the nasty spews of his tongue indefinitely. And unfortunately, his tongue is the one I used to speak. So please, somebody help me, for this OCD has become the being of existence that is supposed to be me. So that poem, basically summed up how I felt the teachers treated me when I was making an attempt to go to school, and OCD was a major, player in how I was feeling at that time. I guess my OCD contributed to the amount of anxiety I was feeling, and my depression, and social phobias, and any other phobias, and so on and so forth. So yeah, this book has many poems like that in there. You know, it was written, I think I said back in 2011, so it's you know, 4.5 years old. I'm working on the second book now. But yeah, it's an interesting perspective. You know, just the first person view of what it's like to live with autism and growing up with the stigma, and especially back, you know, even 10 years ago when not much was known in the public eye about autism.